Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon, everyone. Suffering is a universal human experience. It crosses boundaries of age, culture, and belief, touching all of us at some point in life. In moments of pain and hardship, many of us turn our gaze upward, asking, why does God allow suffering? It is a profound question, one that has been asked by theologians, philosophers, and ordinary people throughout history. Today, I hope to provide insight into this difficult topic, offering perspectives that might help us find meaning, comfort, and hope amid our struggle. Suffering is an experience that touches every human being at some point in life, regardless of who they are or where they come from. It is a reality that cannot be ignored or denied because it profoundly shapes our understanding of the world, ourselves, and even our relationship with God. Whether it comes in the form of personal loss, illness, betrayal, or the trials of day-to-day existence, suffering forces us to confront emotions and thoughts that we might otherwise avoid. It is an undeniable part of the human condition, and grappling with its presence is often the first step in finding deeper meaning or solace. Acknowledging the reality of suffering is not merely about stating that it exists. It is about validating the depth of pain and the profound impact it can have on a person's life. For those enduring hardship, the last thing they need is to be told that their pain is insignificant or that they should just move on. Such dismissive attitudes not only deepen the wound, but also alienate those who are suffering from the support they desperately need. Recognizing suffering for what it is allows us to meet people where they are, offering empathy rather than judgment, understanding instead of solutions. Suffering also demands that we wrestle with difficult questions. Why do bad things happen to good people? If God is loving and powerful, why does He allow pain to persist? These are not easy questions, nor do they have simple answers, but the act of asking them reflects our humanity. It shows that we care deeply about justice, love, and the well-being of others. Wrestling with these questions often becomes the starting point for profound personal growth and transformation. It is in these moments of struggle that many people begin to seek answers beyond themselves, turning to God, philosophy, or the support of their community for comfort and guidance. Acknowledging suffering also means accepting its universality. While pain manifests differently in each life, no one is exempt from its touch. This shared experience can serve as a powerful reminder of our interconnectedness. Knowing that others have faced and overcome their struggles can inspire hope and remind us that we are not alone. At the same time, understanding that suffering is universal does not diminish the unique pain an individual feels. It is essential to balance this universal perspective with compassion for the deeply personal nature of each person's experience. Acknowledging the reality of suffering allows us to move beyond denial. In a world that often prioritizes comfort and quick fixes, there is a temptation to avoid facing pain head-on. We might distract ourselves with work, entertainment, or material pursuits, but these diversions rarely offer true healing. It is only by facing suffering honestly and openly that we can begin to process it, learn from it, and eventually find ways to heal. Denial may offer temporary relief, but it ultimately delays the deeper work of growth and recovery. To acknowledge suffering is also to recognize its complexity. Pain is not always the result of human error or misdeed. Sometimes it arises from circumstances beyond our control, such as natural disasters or unforeseen tragedies. In other cases, suffering is deeply tied to choices we or others have made. Regardless of its source, suffering often defies easy categorization or explanation. By acknowledging this complexity, we resist the urge to oversimplify or offer platitudes that might unintentionally deepen the pain of those who are struggling. Instead, we can approach suffering with humility, recognizing that it often transcends our ability to fully understand or explain. Acknowledging the reality of suffering creates space for hope. When we recognize that pain is an intrinsic part of life, we can begin to search for meaning within it. This acknowledgement opens the door to discovering how suffering can transform us, deepen our relationships, and draw us closer to God. Though we may not always find the answers we seek, the act of wrestling with suffering can lead us toward greater understanding, empathy, and a renewed sense of purpose. The concept of free will is foundational to understanding the existence of suffering, as it speaks to the profound nature of the relationship between humanity and God. Free will is the ability to make choices independently, a gift that reflects the love and trust God has placed in humanity. This freedom, however, comes with the weight of responsibility, as the choices made by individuals and communities have real and lasting consequences. Without free will, humanity would lack the capacity to love genuinely, to grow spiritually, or to act with moral courage. For these virtues require the ability to choose between good and evil, between selflessness and selfishness. And the very existence of free will allows for the beauty and depth of human relationships, yet it also introduces the potential for suffering when choices lead to harm, whether intentional or unintentional. The gift of free will reveals the nature of a God who desires a relationship with humanity that is not coerced or programmed, but is freely chosen. Love that is forced is not love at all. It is only in the context of freedom that love can flourish. This freedom, though, is a double-edged sword, for the capacity to love and create also carries the capacity to hate and destroy. The pain and suffering that result from the misuse of free will are not the result of God's design, but are the byproducts of human actions that deviate from His will. When people act out of greed, selfishness, or malice, the ripple effects of those decisions can cause harm not only to themselves but to countless others, illustrating how intertwined our choices are with the well-being of others in the world around us. The existence of free will also provides a framework for understanding the moral and ethical dimensions of human life. If suffering were eradicated completely, it would mean the removal of the freedom to choose, for with no consequences, choices would lose their meaning. Without the possibility of making wrong choices, there would be no opportunity to learn, to repent, or to grow. It is through our missteps and the lessons they teach us that we come to appreciate the value of making better choices in the future. The presence of suffering, while painful, often becomes a catalyst for reflection, prompting individuals to consider how their actions affect others and inspiring a commitment to live more compassionately and wisely. In addition to its personal implications, free will has broader social and global ramifications. The cumulative effects of human choices shape cultures, institutions, and systems, which can either promote justice and peace or perpetuate inequality and suffering. When individuals and societies prioritize values such as love, kindness, and fairness, the positive impact can be profound. Conversely, when selfishness and corruption take root, the resulting suffering can be widespread and long-lasting. This interconnectedness underscores the weight of our choices and the collective responsibility to use our freedom in ways that reflect God's love and intentions for humanity. Free will also challenges us to confront the question of natural suffering, such as illness or natural disasters, which may not seem directly tied to human choice. While these forms of suffering can appear random or purposeless, they often serve as reminders of the fragility and interdependence of life. Human responses to such events, whether through acts of compassion, innovation, or resilience, reveal the profound capacity for goodness and creativity that free will enables. It is in these responses that the beauty of human freedom is most evident, as individuals and communities rise to meet challenges with courage and solidarity, reflecting the image of God in their actions. The existence of free will is inseparable from the reality of suffering, for it is this freedom that makes possible the full range of human experience. While the choices that lead to suffering can be difficult to understand, they are a testament to the profound respect God has for humanity, entrusting us with the power to shape our lives and the world around us. Suffering as painful and unwelcome as it may be, often serves as a profound catalyst for growth and transformation in ways that are not immediately apparent. Life's challenges, hardships, and struggles force individuals to confront their limitations, weaknesses, and fears, often propelling them toward greater strength, resilience, and self-awareness. While the initial experience of suffering may feel overwhelming and senseless, over time it can lead to personal and spiritual development, revealing the depths of human endurance and the capacity for renewal. This process is not easy, and it is not always linear, but through suffering, people often discover inner reserves of courage and perseverance that they may not have realized they possessed. Growth through suffering frequently involves a reevaluation of priorities, values, and relationships. In moments of difficulty, people are often compelled to reflect on what truly matters in life, stripping away superficial concerns and focusing on deeper truths. The trials of life have a way of bringing clarity, exposing what is essential and enduring while shedding light on the transient nature of material possessions or external achievements. This shift in perspective can lead to a greater appreciation for the simple and profound aspects of life, such as love, community, and spiritual connection, which are often overlooked in times of ease and comfort. Suffering, in this sense, becomes a teacher, offering lessons that might not have been learned otherwise. Suffering often fosters empathy and compassion, creating a bridge between individuals and communities. Those who have experienced pain firsthand are often more attuned to the struggles of others, developing a deeper understanding and a more genuine willingness to help. This shared vulnerability forms the foundation for authentic human connections, breaking down barriers of pride or indifference and replacing them with humility and solidarity. In the process, people are reminded of their shared humanity, recognizing that suffering is a common thread that unites all individuals, regardless of background, culture, or belief. It is in these moments of connection that the true power of suffering to transform and heal becomes evident. Suffering can also deepen an individual's faith and spiritual life, prompting questions about meaning, purpose, and the nature of God. While these questions are often challenging and may lead to moments of doubt or struggle, they also create opportunities for growth and greater intimacy with the divine. The Bible, for example, is filled with stories of individuals who endured great suffering and emerged with a stronger relationship with God. Figures such as Job, who maintained his faith despite unimaginable loss, or the Apostle Paul, who found joy in the midst of hardships, serve as reminders that suffering can be a pathway to spiritual maturity and a closer understanding of God's presence and grace. In addition to its spiritual dimension, suffering cultivates practical resilience and adaptability. Life's trials often require individuals to develop new skills, perspectives, or strategies to navigate challenges effectively. These experiences build a kind of emotional and mental fortitude that equips people to face future difficulties with greater confidence and wisdom. While no one seeks suffering, those who have endured and overcome adversity often find themselves more prepared to handle the complexities of life, possessing a level of depth and strength that can inspire others. Another aspect of growth through suffering is the way it can lead to acts of creativity and purpose. Many of history's greatest works of art, literature, and music have been born from moments of profound pain, as individuals sought to give expression to their struggles and find meaning in their experiences. Similarly, countless organizations and movements dedicated to justice, healing, and support have been founded by individuals who were motivated by their own encounters with suffering. These acts of creation and service demonstrate the transformative power of pain to inspire positive change and contribute to the greater good. Through these various pathways, suffering becomes more than a source of pain, it becomes an opportunity for transformation. While the process is never easy and often requires immense perseverance, the growth that emerges from suffering is a testament to the resilience and beauty of the human spirit. In times of suffering, it can often feel as though we are utterly alone, grappling with pain and hardship without any sense of support or comfort. Yet one of the profound truths of faith is the assurance that God is not absent in our suffering. This belief offers solace and strength to those who are struggling, providing a sense of divine presence even in the darkest moments. The promise that God is with us in our suffering is not merely theoretical, but deeply rooted in the teachings of Scripture and the lived experiences of countless individuals throughout history who have encountered His presence in their pain. This divine closeness offers a source of hope and a reminder that we are never abandoned, no matter how overwhelming our struggles may seem. The Bible consistently portrays a God who is deeply concerned with human suffering, demonstrating compassion and care for the brokenhearted and the downtrodden. In Psalm 34:18, we are reminded that the Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. This verse is not merely poetic, but a profound affirmation of God's active involvement in the lives of those who are hurting. It conveys the idea that God does not stand at a distance, detached from human pain, but instead draws near to those who are in need, offering comfort and healing. This divine closeness is further emphasized in the life and ministry of Jesus Christ, who not only taught about love and compassion, but also lived it through His actions, often seeking out and ministering to those who were suffering the most. The person of Jesus Christ provides a powerful example of God's solidarity with humanity in suffering. Through His incarnation, Jesus entered fully into the human experience, embracing not only its joys, but also its sorrows and struggles. He experienced rejection, betrayal, physical pain, and even death, all of which underscore His understanding of the depths of human suffering. In moments of despair, individuals can find comfort in knowing that Jesus Himself endured similar trials, making Him a compassionate and empathetic presence in their lives. The image of Jesus on the cross, bearing the weight of human sin and pain, serves as a profound reminder that God is not indifferent to suffering, but has shared in it in the most intimate and sacrificial way possible. This divine presence in suffering is not always immediately evident or easy to recognize, especially in moments of acute pain or loss. Yet many people have testified to experiencing a profound sense of God's nearness in their darkest hours, often in ways that are difficult to articulate but undeniably real. These encounters might take the form of an unexplainable peace, a comforting presence, or a sense of strength that carries them through their trials. Such experiences remind us that God's presence is not always about removing the pain or solving the problem, but about providing the grace and support needed to endure and grow through the challenges. God's presence in suffering also manifests through the actions of others as individuals and communities step forward to offer support, care, and love to those in need. In these acts of kindness and compassion, we see the hands and feet of God at work, bringing His comfort and healing to the world. Whether it is through a comforting word, a practical act of service, or simply the willingness to sit with someone in their pain, these moments of connection reveal the tangible ways in which God works through His people to bring hope and encouragement. The assurance of God's presence in suffering provides a foundation for resilience and hope, enabling individuals to persevere even when the path ahead seems uncertain or overwhelming. This assurance does not negate the reality of pain or minimize its impact, but it offers a perspective that allows individuals to face their struggles with courage and trust. The knowledge that God walks with us through every trial, sharing in our burdens and guiding us toward healing and restoration, transforms the experience of suffering, infusing it with meaning and purpose. The presence of God in suffering serves as a powerful reminder of His love and faithfulness, reassuring us that we are never alone. Even in the midst of our deepest pain, His nearness offers a source of strength, hope, and comfort, enabling us to face our challenges with the confidence that He is with us, sustaining us every step of the way. From a faith-based perspective, suffering is not the final word, nor is it the ultimate reality. An eternal perspective offers hope and assurance that the pain and struggles experienced in this life are temporary and part of a much greater and more profound story. This perspective shifts the focus from the immediate and often overwhelming difficulties of the present moment to the promises of restoration, healing, and joy that lie beyond. It reminds us that life on earth, with all of its challenges and imperfections, is not the end but a preparation for something far greater. This understanding provides a sense of purpose and direction, offering comfort even amid the darkest times, knowing that God's ultimate plan is one of redemption and renewal. The concept of eternity brings a broader context to the question of suffering, helping to place it within the framework of God's infinite wisdom and love. While human beings are naturally inclined to view their lives through the lens of their immediate experiences, an eternal perspective encourages us to look beyond the limitations of time and space, recognizing that God's purposes extend far beyond what we can currently comprehend. The temporary nature of suffering does not diminish its intensity or significance, but it provides a context in which its presence can be understood as part of a larger process that ultimately leads to wholeness and fulfillment. The promise of eternity reminds us that suffering, no matter how profound, will not last forever, and that God's plan includes a time when all pain and sorrow will be erased. Scripture offers numerous assurances of this eternal hope, emphasizing the idea that God's ultimate purpose is to restore all things to their intended perfection. Revelation 21:4, for example, paints a powerful picture of the future, stating, "He will wipe every tear from their eyes. There will be no more death or mourning or crying or pain, for the old order of things has passed away." This verse serves as a reminder that God's vision for humanity and creation is one of complete renewal, where the brokenness of the present is replaced by the wholeness of His kingdom. It is a promise that speaks directly to the heart of those who are suffering, offering reassurance that their pain is not meaningless and that a day is coming when it will be no more. This eternal perspective also challenges individuals to reevaluate their priorities and how they respond to suffering in the here and now. Knowing that life is not confined to this earthly existence encourages a shift in focus from material concerns to spiritual growth and the cultivation of virtues such as love, patience, and compassion. Suffering, when viewed through the lens of eternity, can become an opportunity for transformation and deeper connection with God. It encourages believers to place their trust in His promises, even when those promises are not immediately fulfilled, and to live in a way that reflects their faith in His ultimate plan. An eternal perspective does not diminish the reality of suffering, but provides a framework for enduring it with hope and purpose. It acknowledges the pain and difficulty of the present while holding firmly to the belief that these experiences are not the final chapter. This perspective also fosters a sense of resilience, empowering individuals to persevere through trials with the confidence that God's love and justice will ultimately prevail. The knowledge that suffering has an end point and that joy and restoration await on the other side gives strength to endure and inspires a sense of anticipation for what is to come. This perspective also emphasizes the interconnectedness of human experiences, encouraging individuals to use their time on earth to make a positive impact in the lives of others. By focusing on eternal values, people are inspired to act with kindness, generosity, and empathy, knowing that their actions contribute to the unfolding of God's greater plan. This sense of purpose transforms suffering from a source of despair into an opportunity for growth, service, and the demonstration of faith in action. An eternal perspective is a source of profound comfort and hope, reminding us that suffering is not the defining feature of our existence. It assures us that the difficulties of this life are temporary and that God's ultimate plan is one of love, redemption, and joy. This perspective allows us to face challenges with courage and trust, knowing that the pain of the present will one day give way to the glory of eternity. Understanding the existence of suffering calls us to action, urging us to become vessels of compassion and healing in a world often marked by pain and brokenness. It is not enough to acknowledge the struggles of others from a distance or to offer words of sympathy without meaningful follow-through. Instead, the recognition of suffering should inspire a response rooted in love, empathy, and a desire to alleviate the burdens of those who are hurting. This call to compassion is central to many spiritual and moral traditions, emphasizing the responsibility of individuals to reflect the love of God through their actions and to become a source of comfort and strength to those in need. Compassion begins with the ability to truly see and understand the suffering of others. This requires a willingness to step outside of our own experiences and perspectives, to listen deeply, and to approach others with humility and openness. Often, the first step in showing compassion is simply being present, offering our time, attention, and support to someone who is struggling. In a world that often prioritizes productivity and self-interest, the act of pausing to genuinely care for another person is both radical and transformative. It creates a space where healing can begin, reminding those who are suffering that they are not alone and that their pain is acknowledged and valued. The call to compassion also challenges us to move beyond passive empathy and take active steps to address the needs of others. This might involve providing practical assistance, such as offering food, shelter, or financial support to those in crisis, or advocating for systemic changes that reduce inequality and injustice. Compassionate action is not limited to grand gestures. It is often found in small, everyday acts of kindness that, over time, have a profound impact. Whether it is a word of encouragement, a helping hand, or a willingness to stand alongside someone in their pain, these actions demonstrate a commitment to the well-being of others and reflect the love of God in tangible ways. Suffering also has the potential to deepen our sense of solidarity with others, fostering a greater awareness of the interconnectedness of human experiences. When we recognize that suffering is a universal aspect of life, we are reminded of our shared humanity and the importance of supporting one another. This sense of connection inspires a more inclusive and compassionate approach to the world, encouraging us to see the image of God in every person and to treat others with dignity and respect. It also challenges us to confront our own biases and prejudices, recognizing that true compassion requires us to extend love and care to all people, regardless of their background, beliefs, or circumstances. The call to compassion is not limited to addressing the immediate needs of those who are suffering, but also involves working to create a world where suffering is lessened and prevented. This might include efforts to promote justice, peace, and reconciliation, as well as initiatives to address the root causes of suffering, such as poverty, violence, and environmental degradation. By addressing these systemic issues, we can contribute to a world that reflects God's vision of love, harmony, and flourishing for all. Compassion, in this sense, becomes a proactive and transformative force, shaping not only individual lives, but also communities and societies. The act of showing compassion also has a profound impact on those who offer it. By reaching out to others in their pain, we are reminded of the beauty and power of human connection and the joy that comes from serving others. Compassion opens our hearts and minds, allowing us to grow in empathy, humility, and gratitude. It challenges us to look beyond our own struggles and to find purpose and meaning in the act of giving. In doing so, we reflect the love of God and become participants in His work of healing and restoration in the world. The call to compassion is a response to the reality of suffering that transforms it into an opportunity for love and growth. It reminds us that even in the face of pain, we have the power to make a difference in the lives of others and to bring light and hope into the darkest situations. This call is not only an invitation to care for those who are hurting, but also a challenge to embody the love of God in all that we do, becoming instruments of His grace and mercy in a world that desperately needs both.